broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Why, hello there, are you fierce and fabulous watchers of America's Next Top Model. Welcome to ANTM's Cycle 22 Elimination Roundup. I am your host, Tony Moore, and I am joined by one of the quirkiest, unique models ever to grace the screen of America's Next Top Model. Please help me welcome Devin to our lines. Devin, how are you?
Hey guys, how are you?
Thanks for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Now, Devin, you were deemed a very quirky type of person who had very strong features and many faces. Did you know that about yourself going into the competition, and what were you hoping to maybe work on once you were there?
Well, I did know that about myself going into the competition. And that's what I thought I was going to bring something different to the competition. Mm-hmm. And what I was hoping to gain from it was just more out of life, positive, good things to come, So that's what I was really looking forward to. We all go into things in life hoping for the best, and just like, to give it my all.
Now, going into the competition, first off, what made you decide to be on Top Model? Because, as it rang through this whole season, you always said that you were signed with 6 different agencies, and then Kelly was kind of like, why do you always come in and say that? And if you're doing this and that, why are you here? So take us back. What made you decide to go and be a competitor on America's Next Top Model?
Well, many know, and I guess many don't, I was found by Tyra Banks through social media.
Yeah.
And she pulled me in.
Mm-hmm.
And how that all started.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of people that I've had on the show have said that Tyra reached out via social media. So those of you who are trying to pursue modeling, step your social media game up, because Tyra is looking. She may not be looking anymore for America's Next Top Model, but she's looking. Definitely. So yeah, man. Going into the competition, were you nervous at all? Were you nervous about not only the competition, but now, being on reality TV, and having this, opportunity for yourself? What were your thoughts going into it?
My thoughts, honestly, man, going into this was just very positive. I was like, okay, I'm gonna bring everything that my bookers and my agents and all the models that I lived with, and this has been my life since I was 15. I was going to take all of that experience and then bring it to the competition.
Yeah.
And I did just that, but I just feel like with certain things, they portrayed certain things and they didn't portray certain things. Everything, I'll say this, on Top Model is real. It's not scripted.
Right.
Now, how things are edited, that's another story, And everything is real, but I just feel like if you're going to show a piece of an argument, don't just show 5 minutes of that argument. Show that whole argument so then the viewers know what really happened. So then they're just not left in the desert oh, wow, you look like the bad person because you did that. And it's like, hold up. You don't know what all went down. We were in a house for 2 months. 7 days a week, 24 hours. We couldn't even go to the mall.
Right.
So, you're locked in without your cell phones, without TV, without a computer, without nothing. You're just surrounded by each other every single day.
Yeah.
You are going to get up crazy. You're gonna, and on top of it, you're drinking. Please, it's just that's what happens. Think about this. Top Model is you're a lab rat, and then there's the cheese. And you guys are going to do whatever you have to do to get to that cheese, which is the prize.
Right.
You're going to show out. You're going to not act like yourself. You're going to, start seeing the competitive side of you, it really makes you different. It's a mental game. And Top Model knows that about the competition. That's what makes it so funny. And that's what makes it a little cuckoo. Yeah. It's like they just sit back and watch the dysfunction happening. It's like it's a little cuckoo.
Well, what are some cuckoo crazy things that happened that we didn't get to see? Because of course, like you said,
there's so many things that happen.
Well, lucky for you, I have a cup, so go ahead and spill.
But do I want to is the question. There was let's see, the episode where I was screaming at Ava.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
There was a lot that went into that.
Well, in that particular episode, that's when Courtney came to Ava and said that
Courtney went upstairs and said something that Mikey had said.
Right.
And I co-signed, and I was like, please, after Mikey said the picture needs to come down.
Yeah.
So then Ava came charging downstairs, and she was just rambling and attacking. Like, I felt like she was coming at me. And some words were exchanged. Some very heavy words were exchanged. Very, very heavy words that were so heavy that they had to edit that whole episode and alter it because it couldn't be aired.
Y'all got heavy like that?
Yeah.
Oh. See, we need to see. Tyra needs to come out with like a uncensored season of Top Model so that we can hear everything.
We're on the same page because they got this looking like PG. Like this is like, no, that's not all that happened.
Right. Wow.
But you know what? I love Ava, so I'm actually happy that they did edit that out. I'm not going to lie, because it would have just been really, 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 really bad on both of our parts.
Oh, so both
look good. It was pretty bad.
Both of y'all were throwing some heavy words.
It was bad.
So both of y'all were.
But I do love Ava, and we're cool.
Yeah. So both of y'all were throwing out some heavy words to each other.
Yeah. Well, I didn't cross the racial boundary. I'll leave it at that.
Oh, I feel. You know what? I'm gonna throw this out there too. Some y'all contestants should get together and write a memoir of a Top Model contestant and just put it all in there.
If we do that, because we got too much tea to be released into the world.
it'll be like volumes. It'll be like volume 1, you know what? You can do a volume for each season. So that it's a 22 volume book. Boom. Get on it and get my cut.
Like I said, but you know what? We're cool. We're in a better place. You know, me and Ava had our conversation on the phone, and you know, we both apologized, and we're good.
Yeah.
You know, it was a lot of things. Like people didn't see in the last episode that when we did the entrepreneur challenge, that me and Lacey, I helped Lacey out with hers, and Lacey helped me out with mine. But they didn't show. I had notes written down that I worked on for my presentation for my fragrance. And Lacey the next day went into my bedroom and took the notes out of my notebook and then ripped it up and hid it somewhere because she felt like she helped me too much. And she started thinking about it the next while she was sleeping, and it didn't sit with her right. But I never once said, well, Lacey, everything that I helped you with your presentation, you know.
Oh my.
Are you guys there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm just listening intently. Like, you know, when someone's spilling tea, you just listen. I'm just sitting here sipping. Just call me Kermit the Frog.
Wow.
So
when that all happened, they didn't show Lacey going into the room, you know, taking my notes for my presentation. So I'm over here presenting this on TV, into Tyra and everybody. Like, so this is my fragrance line, emotions, and da-da-da-da-da-da. I look very random, but it wasn't random. I had actually notes written down to present because I had it all written out nicely. Yeah. So Lacey took my notes at the last minute. Wow. And I look very like, oh crap, I had to come up with a new way to present it at the last minute. Yeah. So I look very half-assed. So I felt very shady then when Lacey said, and it was so fake if you guys watched the episode, I come in, and then she's like, well, Devin was very relaxed, because any other time he's like, I don't know about you, but I killed it. Right. And then when I sat on the bed, she's like, I was like, oh my God, that is so shady. Like, when I'm shady or when I say stuff, it's very out in the front. Like, everyone knows that the whole world knows that about me. If I have something to say, I say it to the person.
Right.
If I'm goofy to the world. If I make fun of somebody, I make fun. I don't, go back and say, or, wait till I get into the confessional room to release my confession. Like, if anything, please tell me throughout the whole season, did you guys see me at once be in the confessional room? I don't think they aired any of my confessionals. Because I was never in the room really doing confessionals. Because everything that I had to say, I said it to the person.
Now, speaking of
I just find it really weird. Like, it just really baffles me. Like, no, I take that back. They did show my confessional. They showed one confessional, I think, when I was in, it was the never before seen footage one, where I was like, I'm a funny person.
Yes.
And it later became, that was the only time I seen one of my confessionals.
Yeah.
Other than that, they never showed my confessional throughout the whole season.
Now,
so I was just like, okay, I guess.
Now, when it comes
whatever.
to these confessionals, and you just mentioned now, like, watching the show and listening to some of the things that people have to say, I always ask this to everyone, like, how do you feel, do you watch these confessionals and people say things not only about you but about other contestants, and you're like, ooh, like, what's your reaction to it?
My reaction, you know what, man, I'm really cool and laid back. Like, unless I can go to the person and say it to them, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
For instance, we've been on this interview for about 10 minutes. I haven't said one thing bad about Bayo. Despite that dude talked about me like a freaking trash talker. Like, I don't find any energy in talking about it. You only talk about somebody when you feel it's a threat to them.
Right.
That's why he reacted the way he reacted towards me throughout the whole season. I guess I am talking about him now, but we'll do that because it's an interview. So, I mean, he showed out, but they didn't also show Ben coming into the Tyra suite when I won Best Photo and him apologizing to me about that argument that he caused in the hallway, because that argument was very random.
Right.
A lot of things with me was very random this season, I noticed. Just like my elimination was random. There was so many countless random situations this season. Like, because you know what? I made it hard for them. I made it hard for them to find a bad photo. I made it hard for them to nitpick. Every panel, Tyra loved my picture. She even said, she goes to my film is amazing. Because you can't really fault me for giving different expressions, because that's what I'm all supposed to do. Like, a lot of things was very redundant. Like, how is Yusai going to tell me, Devin, when he gets focused, and it's beautiful, but he gets too focused? What are we talking about? That makes no sense. And then 2 seconds later, they have Niall now coming on the screen saying, it looks like Devin's giving the same expression. But 2.5 seconds ago, Yusai just said I was focused and I was giving beautiful faces. I mean, can we try to keep this script to a cool script? Like, it just makes it pisses me off, because it just makes it looks stupid. It looks foolish to me.
Well,
if you're going to send me home because I fucked up.
Right.
Sorry, don't know if I can say that.
Oh, no, it's okay. You say it and then you apologize later.
I deserve to get sent home.
Yeah. Well, did you ever think that, like I said right at the beginning of this, you do have very strong features and you do have a quirkiness about you. Do you think that there were times where like, that's okay to, like, be let out and be free and do that, and there are times to emote like a different, like, emotion and facial expressions and stuff that aren't so expressive?
But I think that's exactly what I showed on this last episode. And then the feedback that I get was, it's a little too soon, too late. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess.
Were you
like, that's why I'm going home, because it's too soon, too late.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing about it is, and I'm gonna hit you guys with this. This is a modeling competition. We are all different in each of our categories. Yeah, I'm the contouring, the quirky, fun, editorial, high fashion model. That may all be true about me. But at the end of the day, are people saying that about Coco Rocha? Do we even know who that is? Let's talk about Coco Rocha.
I know her.
She is known for giving editorial faces. But do they slam her down for it? No. I'm known for that. That has been my thing since I was a little kid. Now, at the end of the day, I could switch up and give you boy and a J. Crew, Banana Republic, Armani suit too. So, and I can just give you plain. But then when I give you that, they also didn't show on the show. I feel like I'm losing you, Devin. I feel like that this isn't Devin. But I want a little bit. Did you guys catch that too in the beginning? One day they're like, I want you to just go all outward, like on the non-retouch photo shoot.
Right.
And I jumped in the air. I gave them what I know.
Yeah.
And then 1 minute, then Kelly's over here talking about, like on my last shoot, this looks like something from 1992 in a horror film. I just want to know, how does that make sense to this whole situation?
Right.
Are we stretching? I mean, she was stretching for something to say negative. I mean, it was like, at the end of the day, Lacey, Niall, Mame, and Mikey did amazing on their pictures too. But I mean, my comment was a stretch from Kelly. It was so far of a stretch. I mean, I could feel the blood move.
Right.
Like, I was just like, okay. Even on you could see on my face, I was like, oh, okay. What does that mean?
Well, one thing.
Even Tyra said, no, Kelly, this picture is beautiful. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I took everything that they were saying from week 1 and I applied it into my last photo.
Yeah.
So I don't get why I was being chastised about that. And on top of it, there's a difference between giving somebody constructive criticism and then just being nasty and rude. And you can check my Twitter and everywhere. All fans, even fans that aren't even really my fans, that don't really care for me, even agreed that Kelly was just really rude and mean on that. Like, it was just below the belt. Like, it just didn't hold no weight to the challenge. Yeah. It just was like, what are we saying?
What I've always noticed about Top Model is that, and what you just said reminded me of many cycles ago with Yaya. And she was a dancer and had a dance background. And there was a challenge where, you know, that part of her really should have came out, but she held back because the critiques before were, you know, don't be so dancery. And then when she had the opportunity to do it, she didn't do it because of her critiques before. And sometimes I wonder if, you know, the judges want you to know.
They do that on purpose, man. They do that on purpose because, you know, just exactly what you just said is exactly what they said to me. And it's so funny that you said that. You're good. They said the same thing to me.
Yeah.
A lot of photo shoots, they'd be like, Devin, home back or craziness. No, boo-boo, it's not craziness. This is my modeling. Because, you know, at the end of the day, Tyra Gloria Banks was the first one to tell half of the contestants on my cycle, I need you to give me more Devin, and, you know, Devin, I need you to just tone it down.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I'll give you 100 and I'll tone it down to 50, where it's harder for a model to get you 100 if they're already just at a 5. Because most models get very, you know, stagnant in their level, and it's hard for them to elevate to getting somewhere. So, I mean, it's like calling the kettle black. Like, I'm not going to feel bad that my modeling technique it's who I am. I'm a fun, vibrant model. Like, I love just, you know, making the photographer work to get the shot.
Yeah.
That is what I learned in this business. You have to make the photographer work to get the shot.
Yeah.
If you are just sitting there and you are giving just a 1-2 face, they are going to be like, okay, next.
Right.
So I'll give you 50 faces in 20 seconds, and out of that 50 faces, Tyra said, Devin, your whole film was bam, 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 bam. I'm done. Thank you.
Well, what I was gonna say was, like, you know, I think there are times where, you know, I guess as a model you know yourself enough to know, like, which shoots to be like real wild and crazy and which shoots to be like a little more laid back. I guess it just depends on the shoot, depending on what you should give during that shoot. So I don't know if that's what the judges were trying to see. I don't know. I guess after that season of
I just said it all in a nutshell. I said it in a nutshell. As a model, and I will say this again, I don't care if I get backlash for it. I've been modeling since I was 15 for 8 years. I know my light. I know my angles. I know what I am going to get the photographer to shoot. You have to bam, bam, 1, counter poses, 1, 2, 3, elongate that neck. Tyra didn't teach me nothing super duper new that I didn't already know. What she did do is she helped me focus more in some of my categories, and I appreciate her for that.
Yeah.
But everything that I did on Top Model, it helped me grow even more as a model that I already was.
Right.
So let's not get it twisted. Let's not just come up on this show and feel like, oh, I made Devin into what he is, because that's not what it was. They toned it down and they changed some things. They cut my hair. They dyed it black. You know, she made me more marketable. Thank you for that. Okay. But, you know, I know my angles. I know my poses. Do I need to work on certain things? And you know what? Let's get with this real quick, because the world wants to love about my eyebrows. My eyebrows have been blonde for as long as I can remember. I never seen my eyebrows, really. Even if you go back to the early pictures, no one talked about my eyebrows. Why? Because you guys couldn't see them. So when they got dyed jet black, the whole world and everybody could see them. They were more potent on my face now. So I had to learn how to work with my eyebrows. So I didn't really get a chance to say that on the show. I never understood why that was becoming a focal point so much. But I never seen my eyebrows. Really. My eyebrows have always been light. So I had to learn how to work with them once they had got dyed black. So everyone can keep, you know, shunning me for this eyebrow, but it's just like, at the end of the day, I never really seen it, so I couldn't really know what to do. But then I learned how to work with them as time went on, as you guys see on the last photo. So, I mean, week after week, Kelly's comments just didn't make sense. She said I looked like an alien in the episode last week. That was like, girl, if you're going to criticize someone's picture, please come harder. Like, I need you to really tell me what I need to change than you telling me how you feel comedically. Because it looks stupid. Like, I'm really sitting back because, you know what, I'm sick of it. Like, it's a joke. It's a joke. And it's just like, I don't have time for it.
Well,
Say it like you mean it. Is it Wendy Williams that says that? I mean, but she ain't saying it like she means it. She's saying it because she's getting a check. Like, I mean, girl, how does that look like an alien? And let's really be real. If this is our best photo, that you guys are saying, here's your best photo, really, girl, is this my best photo? But yet we're critiquing it to the point where I got sent home. I mean, it makes me think about everything. Like, I got dropped from elite model management when I did this show. I've been doing it since 15. I think I know a little something. As much as the world likes to listen to Tyra, you know, that is swell. I know what I know, too. So it's just like, I'm just a little bit disappointed, especially from that last episode, how everything went when I just seen it for the first time as well. I was very disgusted. Because I knew some other things that played into that episode. So I kind of felt like, they changed up at the last minute because I wasn't supposed to go. So I just really feel some kind of way. And I still feel some kind of way about it. But it's okay.
I can tell you deep in your feelings, Devin. you are strong, and I understand. I mean, this is a competition, and everyone's coming in to do their best and show, you know, the experience that they have and things like that. And
do you feel like it was my time? Straight up.
You want my honest opinion?
Sure.
For me, I look at you, like I said, as someone who's a very strong, like your features are very, very strong. And I think that when you can hone in on those, then you would be great. There were times where I was surprised that you were still in the competition, to be honest, because there were times where I was like this shoot it could have went so much better if you had like really embodied what the shoot was, instead of like thinking of all the different faces and different emotions that you can do, but really honing in, okay, what is this character? What is this person? How is this photo is supposed to be? That's just...
What photo shoot in particular?
Huh?
What photo shoot in particular?
Now I got to go back through all of them. Like in the beginning, like I thought it was great that you did a lot of the different looks and different poses, and you had your own unique style.
But your only thing though is what they're putting on the show.
Yeah, that's...
You guys are just seeing them constantly put that I'm doing different faces.
Yeah.
Like, is not about the different faces. And like I told you before, you have to give 50 different faces, give different emotions, give the camera what it wants, give the photographer what they want. The camera doesn't want just a one-trick pony that's going to give them 1, 2, 3 faces, and that's all that they have to work with, because then the photographer will be bored to death. And I did shock a lot of people that I was filming the competition. You're not the first person to hear that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I said, when I went home, I proved those people wrong. Like, you can go to any of my agencies, look, Most Wanted. You can go to any of them and look at my book. My book is totally different from what you're seeing on the show.
Right.
So, I mean, those photo shoots aren't typical photo shoots or even challenges that will really technically be done in the real modeling industry. Those are just for the rating. So it's just like, I mean, if I really have to be harnessed all the way up in the air with powder makeup and blue contacts in my eyes, if this is the shots that I'm going to get, I mean, by God, I'm going to do my best to get a good shot out of this, but this isn't what we do. I mean, but I guess.
But I guess from like an audience perspective, for me, all the photo shoots that I've seen, I feel like it's something that I could open up in a magazine and see, and something that I could see like on a website or something. I never thought that it's something that I couldn't see somewhere else. You know what I mean? Well,
okay. For instance, I shot for Zara's. Everyone shops there.
Oh yeah, I love Zara.
Right. I couldn't use half of those pictures that I shot on the show into my modeling agency book because clients aren't checking from that. Now, I'm going to hit you with this. This industry is about marketing and branding and what is feasible to the client.
Of course. Me
being harnessed in the air isn't marketable to clients. We're trying to get a check in this business. It's about money.
Yeah.
So when it's not so marketable, it becomes stagnant.
But do you think it shows versatility? Do you think it shows like something else that you can do, and it makes them say, okay, yes, we see that you could be a part of the brand, but it's also good that you can do this as well.
You know, Pop, I guess it does. I mean, you know, hee ha ha, I guess. But half of these models, you let me know since you've been watching the show since the beginning, most of them aren't signed. Most of them can't get signed. Like my mom always told me, if everyone is saying the same thing, everybody can't be lying.
Right.
The pattern keeps repeating itself.
Yeah.
So we can keep asking the same questions to each contestant, but the pattern keeps repeating itself.
Yeah.
And I'm the voice, because I don't sit back and deal with that.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to be that boy, because I have too much at stake. So it's just like, I know these bookers. I know these agencies. Some of these agencies are agencies that some of these past contestants already tried to get into. So I already hear the table coffee talk, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just...
But from what I hear...
Do you see any of the models putting those pictures in their books if they do get signed? I can go to Keith Carlos's book right now on Next Models. They don't have one picture from the show in his book.
Right. Well, I mean, it's been a while since he's done the show, but I always hear from previous models from the show is that sometimes it's, you know, I think from an audience perspective, we think that the road is going to be paved in gold for you guys, but it sometimes is a struggle because there are some brands who don't want to be associated with the ANTM brand, and there are some people that will embrace it. So I feel like
That's true. I was let go from one of the top 10 agencies in the world, Elite.
Yeah.
Elite trumps, you know, a lot of agencies out there in particular. Right. Not going to say any. But, I mean, I was dropped for doing the show. I was on the same board as Naomi Campbell, Irina, just to name a couple top models, you know? So, I mean, it is a struggle. But, you know, I was optimistic about doing the show, and I was like, okay, Tyra reached out, let me do it, you know, what's the worst? But, baby, the worst, I think. And it's just like, thank God I am the model that I am, and I have the support system to back it up. I have my agencies who actually really do believe in me. Yes, we can all sit back and say, oh, Devin gives this, Devin gives that, you know, this, that, and other. But at the end of the day, I always get the shot. And at the end of the day, I always have an amazing film for the creative team to pick from.
Right.
You never want them to go, ooh, that picture's not good, or ooh, okay, he got one, or ooh. You know, maybe out of this whole film, he got like 5 or 4 images. No, I make sure my whole album is consistent and looks amazing.
Yeah.
And that's something that is 10s across the board, and you can ask any of my bookers.
Now,
like, I make sure that the feedback comes back swell.
Do you want to speak on, while we're touching on this, and especially what Kelly said to you in the last episode? Like I said, she brought up the fact that you said that you were signed with 6 agencies, but haven't booked anything. Like, is that true?
What haven't I booked? But see, I never really talked about it because I couldn't talk about it on the show because it's a conflict of interest. But what haven't I booked? I did the show because it's more exposure.
Right.
Who wouldn't do it? Let's all come. Like, so I have booked Zara's. I have done Amazon.com, which is one of the biggest e-commerce. That's next to Zappos Couture.
Right.
So I have done that. I have done it. I did this because it was a smart branding and it was smart publicity and all of that for me and my brand that I have going. And I was asked by Tyra.
Right.
I didn't go applying for it. So let's all take many seats, Kelly, because it wasn't that. And like Miss J said, which they edit out.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I know. I've been doing this for so long. Sometimes I refer back to life situations, back to this industry, because I've been doing this since I was basically a little kid. I'm 22 now. I've been doing it since 15.
Yeah.
Like I said on the show, I lost my virginity in this business. I learned how to be a man in this business.
Right.
I lived in so many miles apartments. I traveled to London, Milan, Paris, Germany. So excuse me if I go back into my Rolodex and make a life example and it comes out. And I was actually co-signing. I wasn't trying to throw shade in Kelly's face.
Right.
I was like, I said it. I thought, I totally understand what you're saying, Kelly. You're not the first time my booker said something like that. I was just, because it popped in my head, because one of my bookers had said something like that. So it's just like, let's stop being petty and let's stop trying to be like 12-year-old and nitpick and try to make Devin look like a dumbass, because that's not what it was. It was her taking that little opportunity and running with it, when actually I was agreeing with her, and she actually made that whole argument, and she ended up looking really like the bad person out of it. But it's all good, because I wasn't trying to argue.
Right.
And like I said, this is what I know. This is all that I have done.
Yeah.
So I was just making examples. I was trying to help other contestants from some of my situations in the industry. I was trying to, let them know, maybe just change it up like this, because All I want to do was help. Not me for being a good person or trying to be. But it's like me asking you questions and you go back into your past and then you're like, oh, I remember this situation when I used to, do broadcasting 2 years ago. And then I say, well, why are you bringing up broadcasting? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's but that's your field. That's what that's, and especially for me, I've been doing it since I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
So all I know, I was away from my family for 3 to 4 years at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just know that. So that's why I'm one out of many contestants out of America's Next Top Model franchise that can speak the way I'm speaking about it, because I have lived the real modeling industry life, which is some of the things that some of the other models are trying to get to.
Yeah,
well,
I think there's been
I'm off the job.
Yeah, I think there's been there's been so many contestants on the show, and I think everyone has come from such a different path of modeling, whether it's experience, whether it's no experience, whether they're like you who have had many experiences, and this is just another opportunity. So I think Top Model has just had many contestants with many different types of levels of modeling, and then going into the competition, it's a whole new world for everybody. I mean, you're being critiqued by people and hearing things and criticisms that you may have heard before and may have not heard before. So it could, I don't know, it could make you feel some kind of way, which I feel like I kind of noticed in you, especially in this last episode, and correct me if I'm wrong, were we starting to lose like the Devin spirit and the Devin shine? Did you start feeling a little defeated
that's the
after a while?
way that it all was edited.
Yeah.
And because my time on the show was coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice, it's Lacey and Niall and my man Mikey. My man Mikey already had some type of, a little bit of drama for the camera left with their whole little cuddling situation.
Right.
And Lacey and Niall, of course, aren't going home because they're just strong competitors, or at least that's what they're made to look like on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like, okay, Devin doesn't fit this script anymore. Let's just, cut him.
Yeah.
But it didn't really make sense too, because it's like I rather went home because I really messed up, not because on some other stuff. But,
Right.
yeah, this is what it is.
Do you regret doing the show at all?
I don't regret it. Like I said, I have no shade or no animosity to Tyra. I always make that a point. I love Tyra. Tyra was actually one going to bat for me when Kelly Catrone came at me and said, "What are you talking about? This shot's beautiful."
Yeah.
You know. So I have nothing against her. The only thing that I have, I'm a little upset at is just
how things played out.
You can't air out somebody's dirty laundry and not air out everybody's dirty laundry. Like, they didn't show Lacey going into the room and taking my notes for the presentation for the entrepreneur thing. They didn't. They have her looking like the all-American, innocent virgin, goody girl, which is good, but we all aren't perfect.
Right.
So it's just kind of like, it upsets me because you have your thoughts about me. Why? Because it's already been aired to the TV screen for the world to see.
Yeah.
So you know how I am, but they didn't do that for everybody, and that's not nice, and that's not fair, because none of us are perfect. Like, if you're going to air out my dirty laundry, air out everybody's dirty laundry.
Yeah, and I mean, we have to also keep in mind that this is reality TV, and you don't really know how a person is or who a person is just by watching a show. You really do have to meet them and get a sense of them, and not base whether you dislike or like a person based on the show, because as you said, there are things that we don't see, there are things we do see, and I don't think you get a full gist of a person just by watching a TV show, even though there's some people who still think that all, see all just by watching a show. So, I mean, just like last week, I spoke to Hadassah, and she was, deemed as the mean girl. And I actually thought she was just a very chill, blunt girl when I spoke to her last week. So, I mean, that's just my opinion.
Hadassah really is, though. But Hadassah really is like that, though.
Yeah.
So you can't fault her. You can't fault her for that. And I learned to respect it about Hadassah. No shade. I love Hadassah, but that's who Hadassah is. Hadassah comes from money. That's just her personality. That's the makeup of Hadassah. Maybe the way that she talks isn't maybe the way that you might like somebody to talk. But you learn to adjust and you learn to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I can respect it about Hadassah because Hadassah stays true to herself.
Exactly.
That's who Hadassah is.
Yeah.
Hadassah is just like, "Hi guys, I'm Hadassah. I have 3 Bentleys." Like, that's just who Hadassah is. And I can't be mad at her for that because that's how she is.
Yeah.
And she kept it 100 though throughout the season. She didn't. That's just what Hadassah is. You know. So but. It's whatever.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So let's talk
the
about.
show is the show.
Let's talk
and
about
we're the last cycle.
Yeah.
So we definitely went out with a bang.
Exactly. So let's talk about some of your relationships in the house. We had DMA, Devin, Mikey, and Ashley, and it started off strong. And then Ashley left, and then it was just DM. And then it seemed like you and Mikey kind of started going at each other. Like, how are you guys now? Like, is there still a DMA? Like, how are we doing?
Yeah, we're all cool. Me and Ashley are best friends. Still, me and Mikey are mad cool. Still, we're still best friends. I'm actually going to Miami in 2 weeks to shoot for a magazine.
Good.
And I'm gonna
Congratulations.
Go party with Mikey.
Yeah.
I'm actually here in New York right now, kicking it with Ashley. Like, we are always going to be DMA. We're probably going to, get like a house together soon. I don't know.
Yeah.
We talked about it. Like, we're best friends. And they didn't show all of our good moments either. That was another thing we were upset about. We had so many fun moments all together, us 3. They didn't show when we pushed Ashley's bed in between me and Mikey's bed to make the DMA bed. Like, we had moved the bed over, and that was like a really cool part.
Yeah.
That was really fun. It was a lot of good moments, and me and Mikey did actually really have a falling out while we was in Vegas.
Yeah.
It was weird because it was starting to get down to the finals, and we had some unresolved conversation. Like, they didn't show that I felt like Mikey had got Ashley sent home, but they made it seem like I did, because I was being goofy.
Right.
But I felt like at one point, if Ashley was focused more on the competition, then, her and Mikey or whatever, it could have been a different turnout or whatever.
Yeah.
So me and Mikey were just, me and Mikey were a little tipsy, or he was, and we were just going at it on each other and whatnot. And
But y'all eventually had a come to Jesus moment, and it was all good.
Right after that argument, like literally, man, a half an hour later,
yeah,
it was so awkward. I literally, me and Mikey hugged it out, and we were just like, "I'm sorry, man. Like we've been best friends since the beginning."
All right. So real quick, because we're starting to run out of time, but I want to find out, like, what has life been like for you afterwards? I know that you just mentioned you're going to Miami to shoot for a magazine, but what else have you been up to since Top Model? And let us know some things that we can look forward to.
Well, I'm supposed to be doing some script readings for a pretty big show.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really talk about it.
Okay.
And I definitely got some big things happening. So I'm really excited about that. Life has been awesome. I get stopped every second on the street. All my fans like, "You're Devin!" And they're just so cool, and God bless them. Like, they keep my spirits high. They're like, "You were the only reason I watched it. You always kept me laughing." I was just like, "Oh, thank you." It's been a blessing. Even from the last episode, like when we were in the cabin and I was drinking, I was just like, "Well, dang, they call everything."
Yeah.
But
now, are we working on this?
Everything's been. Huh?
Are we working on the emotions cologne? Will that be coming out?
No, I was working on that. The only thing is, for it to be made in the lab and everything is like uber super duper expensive.
Oh, I bet.
So I have a different line that I'm working on, which is my shoe line.
Oh, nice.
So you'll see that. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on everything. I believe our time is up, but I feel like I want to chat with you more because you spill so much tea and I love it. And especially for it being this early in LA, I love a good tea sip. And I feel like we could talk forever and ever.
We definitely need to talk more. I'll definitely tell you more. Like, add me on Instagram at Devin LJ Clark, DevinLJClark. And anything you need to find is Devin LJ Clark. My brand is Devin LJ Clark. Like, it has to have the LJ. But at me, and we'll definitely talk more. Definitely got more that I want to talk about.
Awesome. Well, and of course, if you're ever in LA, you are more than welcome to come to our AfterBuzz TV studios and talk live and in person. We'll call it Tea Time with Devin.
Yeah, I'm a San Francisco boy, so I have to make my way up there.
Yes, please do. And I'm gonna follow you on everything and hit me up, and we'll make sure we schedule it.
Okay, man. I definitely will.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Devin, and best of luck to you.
Thank you too, guys. All right, God bless.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. All right, you guys. Well, that has been our time with the most recent eliminated contestant of America's Next Top Model, Devin. We are going to wish him all the best. And trust me, we could have talked a whole lot more because, as he said, he has many things to say. If you want to keep up with me, make sure you find me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony or my website, loungingwithtony.com. And we will see you next Monday at 10:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another ANTM Elimination Roundup.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.